Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the Band Factory. My name is Tyler Davis, and I'm the founder and owner of the Band Factory and one of the 3 drum instructors available to you here. I want to take this time to formally welcome you aboard and tell you that you are in the right place for learning drums and leveling up your skills on your instrument. In addition to lessons, I encourage each and every one of you to take advantage of our band forming program. I've personally experienced so much joy that comes from not only getting better at your instrument, but playing music with others. And I feel so strongly about this relationship and experience with the music that I've made it my goal to bring it to you. I sincerely hope you get something out of this program beyond just becoming a talented player. I hope you gain confidence, social skills, and friendships that last a lifetime. Now let me explain to you what being a drummer is all about and why you pick the best instrument, in my opinion, of course. By default, you are the heartbeat of the band. You keep the band going, fast or slow, through your playing. Okay, you need to play steadily. More often than not, if you stop playing unexpectedly, the band does too. Okay, if you speed up, the whole band does, rushing. Okay, if you slow down, the whole band is going to start slowing down. Okay, and we're dragging at that point. We have a lot of power in the band. Our instrument is very, very loud, right? Okay, and that's why we call this seat right here, we call this a drum throne, okay? Not just a stool, not any regular seat, it's a drum throne. We are kings and queens of these bands, okay? Now that you know about the role of the drums in a band, okay, I'd like to take this moment to share with you some troubleshooting tips in case your gear encounters any sort of failures at home. This arises all the time, especially with the drum set, okay? There's so many technicalities to it. I know for a fact that many students encounter these problems at home, okay? And they're either gonna play through it and just have undesirable sounds, or worse, they're just gonna get turned off to playing entirely because it just is broken, or it just sounds so awful that you just don't even want to approach the drum set, okay? So what I want to do here is take the time to tell you how to troubleshoot these issues that will guarantee happen at your house. We got the hi-hat. The hi-hat is just the trickiest one of the bunch, okay? It's got so many things that can go wrong with it, but really we're going to talk about 2 main things, okay? Here's the problem. Sometimes you'll be at home and you will be trying to open and close the hi-hat like we showed you in the lesson, okay? Bottom hat, top hat, okay? But what's gonna happen is this rod is just gonna move like this. It's just gonna go up and down, right? Okay? And we're gonna be like, these hi-hats are not opening and closing. We don't know what's going on. So what we're gonna have to do is an inspection of this, okay? So first things first, we're going to loosen the top of the hi-hat. This is called the clutch, okay? This makes the top cymbal of your hi-hat go up and down on the pull rod here, okay? So we're gonna loosen it and pull it off. And the first thing we're going to do, right, is just look on the top of the bottom hi-hat. And what could have happened through your playing, okay, through all the friction, okay, that occurs while we play, sometimes you'll see something like this, okay? So you'll pull it off. This will just be like this, and it won't be connected to the bottom of it at all. You're just gonna see this. This is the easiest fix we can have, okay? If we see this, no problem. The felt and the bolt here just fell off, okay? So we're going to put it back on the way we took it off, inserting it like this. Felt goes on first because we don't want friction or metal with metal, okay? And then this is just simply, we're just gonna thread it. We're gonna find the thread side, okay? And we are going to re-thread it, okay? Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, as the saying goes, okay? And then turn it, place it back on. Now this should be free to hold, okay, onto the pull rod of the hi-hat, wherever you want to place it, okay? So the second problem that we face with the hi-hat not opening, okay, is, and if it isn't the clutch that is creating the problem, we just went over that, right, okay, then it's the pull rod itself. This became loose. This pull rod is threaded inside of the hi-hat stand, so what we're gonna have to do is take the top hi-hat off. We're gonna pull the bottom hi-hat off, place it carefully on the ground, okay? And now we're exposing the hi-hat rod. And you, by the way, you want to really keep this straight, okay? You don't want to be yanking this hi-hat rod or doing anything that will bend it, okay? It's very, very important that this stays straight, okay, and keeps its integrity. So what we're going to do first is loosen this wing nut here, and right in the middle of the hi-hat stand. Not the lower one. This will control the legs, okay? We want to go right in the middle of the stand. You're going to find this wing nut, okay? We're going to loosen this, and we're going to pull the hi-hat stand, okay? It's like a tube that goes around the pull rod. We're going to pull that straight up, okay, and off. Just place that anywhere. Make sure that the felt stays on, though, okay? And like everything there is good, all right? Next, what happened was that this rod just loosened so much through your playing, that it actually just became unthreaded, okay? It just loosened so much. So right here, and it's usually oiled, so just be mindful of that. We have little threads, and they attach inside the hi-hat stand. There's another piece right there, okay? Sometimes this rod actually can get loosened so much that it falls inside the hi-hat stand itself, at which point you think, oh my gosh, this thing is so broken, no, it's simple. It's just this rod fell in, okay? And we need to re-thread it. Put it right there, and just, again, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, and there you go, okay? So next, once we have this tightened, the rod tightened, we're going to take the tube and put this back on. And you're just going to line it up. The rod goes right through the middle. Okay, there it goes. And you're just going to put it down to your desirable height, and you're going to tighten the wing nut again. Next, we just have to put the hi-hats back on, right? So again, this is the seat for the bottom hi-hat. Bottom hi-hat first. Just like that. Just like the way you took them off, okay? And now the top hi-hat with your hi-hat clutch, assembled correctly. And put that right on through the tube, okay? Now, at this point, I'd just like to offer a suggestion. We just finger tightened that rod, correct? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're actually going to lift this up, this hi-hat clutch and the top hi-hat. Okay, we can tighten that. All right, and what we can do is once that's tightened on this rod, we can actually turn it a bit more to the right, and that'll provide some torque and some power for you to tighten that rod inside, okay, inside the threading there. Okay, so right there. Now, of course, you have a working hi-hat where you can lower your foot and tighten the clutch. So now once we have that done, we can just have our normal working hi-hat again, right? I'm going to push my foot down to the desirable height in which I want the hi-hats to be open. We're good. Back in business. So another possible problem that might arise when you're at home playing your drums, okay, is the snare drum just sounds wonky. You're like, what the heck is going on with this? Go to hit it and it sounds like a tom, actually, okay? It's like, this isn't the sound that I remember from lessons, okay? So this here is the snare throw. And what this does is it enables the snare wires that are on the bottom of the snare drum to activate and go on to the bottom head of the snare drum, okay? So what we do here is all we do is we lift this up, okay? And we pull that towards the center. Now the snare wires are touching the bottom of the drum, and your drum sounds like a snare drum again. Again, this sometimes goes down, okay? All we're doing is we are pulling it back on, okay? Snare wires off. Snare wires on. All right? Now, really quickly, I just want to say some snare throws are different, right? This is a Yamaha drum, so the snare throw is going to the side, okay? Your drum very well likely may have a snare throw that is like this. It kind of folds down like that, okay? Either way, it's the same mechanism. You are just simply pulling up the snare throw, okay? And you're activating the snare wires. The next thing I'd like to talk to you about really quickly is cymbal stands, okay? These are easily adjustable. There's not much to them. They just have wing nuts okay, that allow you to move the stand up and down for placement, okay? So you're just gonna go righty-tighty, lefty-loosey with these wing nuts. The bottom wing nut, okay, on every stand always is just working on the base, okay, the legs of the stand. So you loosen that, and you can bring the legs in, okay, or bring them out to have a more stable stand, okay, and then you tighten that. The wing nuts found going up the stand will help adjust the height of the stand, okay? There may be multiple wing nuts going up the stand. That's just added kind of value to the stand, honestly, and you have more height, okay, available to you. This one here at the top, some cymbal stands have what we call boom arms, okay? You will just simply loosen that wing nut, and the boom arm will be able to extend, okay? This sort of gives you that horizontal ability for a stand that needs to jet out into the drum set for whatever reason, okay? Same thing, you just loosen, adjust, and then tighten. It's very, very simple. And finally, the most important thing about these cymbal stands that I want to convey to you at home is that you need to have felts and these sleeves on your cymbal stand. If you don't have plastic sleeves, that's okay. You probably have a metal washer, okay, which is just like a little round piece of metal that goes on. So that always wants to go on first. That will stabilize and provide a base for the cymbal on the stand. And then you want to take your felt, okay, and you want to put that on. The reason why this is so important, right, is because we want to make sure the cymbal is secure, in place, and it's not touching any sort of hard plastic or metal. We need the felt there, okay, so we keep the cymbal nice and safe, all right? We don't want any sort of metal on metal ever on this drum set, okay? Now just put your cymbal on, just like that. You may have at home an extra felt, which is great if you'd like to play like that, and then a wing nut that kind of tightens on the top. I don't play like that. I like to have like a very open sound to my cymbals. Sometimes when you put another felt on and tighten it down, it kind of chokes the sound and the resonance of the cymbal. So I play with it just open at the top, okay? All right, that's very important stuff. I hope that helps you. Lastly, let's talk about the kick drum pedal, okay? Something that can go wrong with this here, okay, is that it can actually just come off of the bass drum entirely just through booting it and loosening. So this is your kick drum pedal. This is the foot plate. This is the bass drum beater, okay? And underneath all this is what we call the tongue. And sometimes we don't see this, right? This is very important. This secures your bass drum pedal to the bass drum itself. This part right here actually opens and closes from a wing nut over here, okay? And different models, this is placed differently on different model bass drum pedals, okay? This may be found underneath, okay? And same thing though, you just have to loosen it, okay? Loosening it and tightening it, if you want to look here at this tongue, when we tighten it, the tongue goes down. So now that we have the bass drum pedal secured onto the drum hoop in between the top of the tongue and the bottom of the pedal, okay, we are going to tighten this wing nut right here. So now you can see that it's secure. So these are the main troubleshooting issues that I wanted to bring to your attention. If there's anything wrong at home that's outside of the realm of what I went over, please let us know. We're happy to help you. We're going to be going over all of this stuff in lessons, okay? And we just want to make your drumming experience the best as possible. Again, guys, thank you so much for joining up with the Band Factory. This is going to be such a great experience, and we're happy to have you on board, okay? Take care.